Hello people, welcome back. So I'm going to be teaching you how to create or manipulate your own background in Photoshop in very few steps or in very simple steps. So guys, stay tuned and make sure you watch this video to the end. Do also like, subscribe or share if you found this video helpful. So these are some backgrounds and images I'll be making use of for this particular tutorial. So after going to my Photoshop, after launching my Photoshop, I'll go ahead to create a new document. So after creating this new document, I'm just gonna title this anything. Let me just name it background or BG. All right, so I'll just make sure this is on inches, and I want this to be a canvas of 8 by 9. That's 8 width and 9 height. So I'll just go ahead to create. I want to change this background color, so I'm just gonna go to my new adjustment layer. I'm just gonna select solid color, and I'll just give this a dark color. So this dark color is dependent on what kind of background you have in mind, the perspective you have. So if you want your background to be darker, you just have to select a deeper color. If you want it to be lighter, you select a lighter color. So it's dependent on what you want to create. So this is just an illustration of how to the things you just need to know about before you do it. So I'll just pick this color, and I'll go down to where my resources are, and I'll just import this background into Photoshop. All right, so I'm just gonna scale this. I'm just gonna adjust this the best way I can. Yeah, so an instrumental tool you need to take note of while creating or trying to manipulate backgrounds for flyer designs is understand your blur understand your blur tool. I call it tool, but just understand how to make use of your blur under your filter. So to get to blur, you go to filter, go to blur, and you just select Gaussian blur. All right, I majorly make use of Gaussian blur or motion blur for my background manipulation. So I'm just gonna pick Gaussian blur, and I'll just give it a random value depending on how much blur I want. So I'm just gonna leave it at 23.5, and I'm just gonna click on OK. Now the second thing you need to understand is how to make use of your blend modes. These are very, very, very important. The blend modes are very, very important in helping you have a very nice background. So I'm just gonna change my blend mode. I'll just make it selected on the background layer I want to work on, or which blend mode I want to change. So I'll just select it, and I'll go down to select any of these that suits or fits in. So for me, I'm just gonna make use of the overlay. Yeah, I'm just gonna make use of the overlay, and I'm just gonna select the overlay, and as you can see, it's too dark. So since it's too dark, I'm just gonna come back to where my color is. I'm just gonna make it a lighter color so that it becomes lighter. So that was, I said, is dependent on the particular background or the kind of background you want to manipulate. So I'll just click on OK. All right, so after clicking on OK, another thing I would like to make you understand, though it's not mandatory, but I like making use of it for my own designs, is under the filter also the noise selection. So what the noise basically do for me is that it adds depth to my to my background. There's some backgrounds that you just want it to have that depth feeling. So I'm just gonna select noise. Okay, but before then I'll have to convert to smart objects. I'm just gonna convert to smart objects, select yes, and I'm just gonna dependent on the kind of effect I want to have. As you can see, this is too much, but I just want to show you the effect or what it does. So I'm just gonna reduce this. I'm just gonna bring this to maybe probably 5 or 4, or between the range of 5 or 4, dependent on how much you want it. I'm just gonna click on OK. Now if you look closely, give that depth feeling a little to what I am doing already. So next thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring in another background. Let's see, let me take this, I'll bring it into Photoshop, and I'm just gonna place it. Now I just want this to be a bit complex or a bit complicated, so I want these stripes orange light effects with there. So I'm just gonna click it, and I'm just gonna change the blend mode also to um let me just try different blend modes and see which one I'll prefer. So I'm just gonna select, okay, I'm just gonna select difference, but as you can see, it's too much for me. You could make use of difference, you could make use of screen. Just try things out, guys. The blend mode, the blur, the noise, very, very important things you need to know. So I'm just gonna leave it at difference, and I'm just gonna reduce the opacity. Let me reduce the opacity of mine so that the effect is not too much. So another thing to understand is your opacity, how transparent whatever you want is. So sometimes things will be too much and you just need to reduce the opacity. So I think this will be cool for me, guys. This will be very, very cool. All right, so another thing you need to understand is make use of light effects in your background. So I have a light effect here. I just have this. I'm just gonna drag this into Photoshop and I'm just gonna release this. I'm gonna scale it. Yes, so I'm just gonna increase it and I'll check this now. I want a kind of reflection at the middle of this. That was why I brought in this light effects. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the blend mode to screen. So as you can see, I have this light effect at the middle. But if it's too much, you could also reduce the opacity. While sometimes another thing to understand is changing the color of your light in order to suit the particular background you want to make. Now, if this was a yellowish background or probably a red background, this would have fit in perfectly. But it's a blue background, and I don't really want this yellow feel on it. So to change it, I'll just make sure it's selected on the light layer, and I'm just gonna go to where my adjustment layer here. I'm just gonna select hue and saturation. So when I select hue and saturation, I'm just gonna uncheck. Now I'm just gonna uncheck this so that it doesn't apply to all the layers that are here. It's just gonna apply to this particular one, that this light layer. If you leave this at this, it means you want it to apply to everything, but if you uncheck it, it means you want to just apply it to the layer that's selected. So you can just play around with this, just play around with the hue. As you can see, it's becoming bluish, and also I can reduce the saturation if I feel it's too saturated, or increase it, or I could increase the lightness and also decrease the lightness, guys. So I don't really need this for this. It's just to show you that there are several ways of doing several things. So I could just select this, hold down Ctrl+T and just scale it, or probably place it anywhere I want. So guys, this is how to do this. Yes, I'm just gonna check this. Maybe I should just place this around here, even if that was not what I planned to do initially. Or let me just delete this. Sorry, let me just delete this. Okay, sorry. So let me just delete this. So after deleting this, guys, another thing I would like you to pay attention to or learn very well is making use of your brush tool. It's also very important. If I were you, I would write out some of these things or some of these areas I need to take serious while creating backgrounds. Right, so I will just take note of my brush, my eraser tools. So your eraser tool, because it's very instrumental in doing some things. So let's assume in this particular background I want to bring in a particular image, maybe this image of people worshiping. I want to blend it with the background, so I'll just bring it in and I'll just drop it here. So let's say I want this to be in the background. I'll just select this. Okay, maybe just a little aspect or a broad aspect. Let's just for a little aspect. So I'll just zoom this. I'll check this. Now when I check this, I'm just going to change the blend mode also. As you can see, in everything you do, you make use of your blend modes. In almost every single thing you do, you make use of your blend modes. So I'll just select the blend modes that fits this perfectly to me, or for me. I think this is not bad, but let me make use of a hard light. Okay, let me make use of a hard light. Then I'll reduce the opacity a little bit. Yep, So this is okay for me. Now as you can see, this didn't really blend well because of the edges around this image. Because of the edges around this image, it didn't really blend well. So the best thing to do at this point now is to make use of your eraser tool. Make sure when you select your eraser tool, you come here and it's on soft brush. Your brush is on soft brush, so you could just first of all convert this image to smart objects if you've not, or then if you didn't do that, after selecting your brush tool, it will still ask you if you really want to convert it to smart objects. So I'll just select OK. So I'll just reduce the size of my brush. You could reduce the size from here, or you can make use of your square brackets to reduce or increase it. So I'll just play around this. Make sure it's on soft brush, else it won't give you this effect. So as you can see, it's blending perfectly. It's now as if it's part of the background and not in isolation. So guys, this is just an example. If I want this to be at the middle, I'll still select it, my eraser tool, and just place it around, and just place it wherever I want to place it. So that's how to basically do it. That's how to do it basically, guys. Let me turn off this background and see how it will look like. Okay, I could just leave it, but then I will just need to play around with it, maybe make it bigger so that it fits in better for me. Okay. So alright guys, let me reduce the opacity of this reddish background, okay, so that this one can be very much visible. So guys, that's how to play around with your brush tool and your blend modes also. Alright, so this is one. Let me just turn off this layer so that I could show you how to do another thing. Another thing you might want to learn is also it's still in the aspect of bringing in images. For instance, let me bring in this image here, and I just want to illustrate, maybe it's a praise church flyer, or maybe a Thanksgiving church flyer. I just want to illustrate something like that, and I'll bring in a drum. Let me bring in the second drum also. So probably I bring in this second drum also, and I just let me flip it, because this background is not well removed. So I just want to illustrate something, and we are done. Just to illustrate this, okay, maybe I bring this in now and I reduce it and I put it here also. As you can see, it's not really blended well with the background. It's as if it's in isolation. So the first thing, again, as usual, is the blend mode. I'm just gonna change the blend mode to maybe highlights. Let's say a vivid light. No. Okay, let me still further reduce this. Let me see. Okay, I think I'll prefer linear light, so I can reduce the opacity if I choose to. If I want to, I can reduce it if I want to. I could just leave it like that. Also, so I might want this to to blur a little, to be blurred a little. So as you can see, I keep revolving around some certain things. So I'll just go back to filter, I'll go back to blur, go back to Gaussian blur, and I'll just increase or reduce it, the radius of the blur. So that's how much or how effective the blur is. Now this is just to illustrate some things to you. I could also make use of the motion blur. So I could just increase it, as you can see the effects. Same thing, I could do same thing to this particular drum at the top and this one at the middle. So because of our time, I won't be doing it. This is just an illustration, as I earlier said. So sometimes you could be very creative and just introduce some text to your backgrounds. Let's say this, for instance, this is a birthday. I intend to make use of this flyer for a birthday design. So I could just bring in my text tool and just in order for the background not to be so plain, I'll just type in maybe something like happy birthday. It's same principle, guys. happy birthday, or let's just make use of happy. So I'll just check this and let me select my text. Let me change the font. Let me change the font to another font. Let's see. Okay, let me say autograph. Let me change this to a lowercase. This is so yeah. So I'll just hold down Control plus C to increase the size, and let me change the color. Change the color to white. So you could still do this and play around with your blend modes. Come down here, play around with your blend modes to see which one fits perfectly for you. It could be soft light, it could be whichever one, or sometimes you might not even want to make use of blend modes. You might just want to reduce the opacity, play around with the opacity. So it's a background stuff, so you don't need it to cause a lot of distraction. You need to understand the principle of importance. You need to understand hierarchy, and also it doesn't distract you from the main thing. This is just to give the background some depth, so it doesn't have to be really obvious. Do you get? So this is also just an example. So that's how some of these backgrounds are being manipulated. So I'm just going to be doing another one. This time around I'll be less, there'll be less talks, but then there'll be more action, so you could just see it's an underlight. So I'm just going to go to file, create new document. Also I think still have the basic settings, so I'll just click on OK. Alright, so when I have this, I'm just going to go to the resources I want to make use of. So before now you must have research and look for some resources you're going to make use of to play around with this. So I have this and I have this. So the first thing I'll be doing is I'm just going to be bringing in this particular background. Now it's not a must to always have a solid feel at the background at first. It depends on whichever way you want it. So I'm just going to have this. I'm just going to click on this. So the first thing I'll be doing is I'll be blurring this. So I'll go to filter, go to blur, go to Gaussian blur, and I'm just going to increase this to this point. I think this is okay for me. Yeah, so I'll not be adding noise to this, but you could add your noise if you feel like you want to, or if you feel it's best for you, you could add your noise. So I'm just going to go to where my resources are again. I'm just going to pull this one. I'm just going to drop it here. I'm just going to scale. So I think I'm going to blur this a little to filter, blur, but just a little, Gaussian blur, and just blow it a little bit. A little bit is fine. Okay, so I'll just click on OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the blend mode. Let's see. Okay, I think soft light is okay for me, but let me just check others to see which one fits or suits what I really want. Okay, lighting. I think lighting so could go. Soft light could also go. So let me just reduce the opacity. Yeah, so as you can see, I have this, and I actually love this. So what I'll do is I would scale this up. Right, so I'll scale this up. So after scaling this up, I'll just bring in now there are times where you want to, depending on the kind of flyer you want to design, especially for church flyers, you want to make use of an image that illustrates what you want to design. For instance, now I have a church flyer to design, and I want to, the theme is lion and the lamb, something like that. So I'm just going to bring in the image of a lion here. I'm just going to bring it here, and I'm just going to scale it. I'm going to still play around with my blend mode. Sometimes removing backgrounds are not necessary. Sometimes you just need to know the right blend mode to use. So I'll just select this and out. Yes, change it to screen. As you can see, it's already blending. I could use this for flyer and just call it lion and the lamb. Depends on how much I want it visible. I could just reduce the opacity if I want, but I think this is even good since it's the theme is about lion and the lamb. So I could just leave this, and if you look at the edges, it's easy to notice it's just an image and not really part of the background rather, because it didn't blend much. So still selected on the lion layer, I'll just select my eraser tool. You could first of all rasterize it. Right click on the layer and rasterize the layer, or you could just select your tool before it applies. It asks you if you want to rasterize, you say yes. So I'm just gonna play around it now. As you can see, it looks more of a blended image because it doesn't really have a point where it doesn't have a finishing point or a point where it's like it's under image. So as you can see, I could just make use of this now for my background. So guys, this is how to a very simple way to manage or to learn how to blend backgrounds for your design. But then what's this video majorly about? It's majorly about the things you need to pay attention to. Your backgrounds might not be like mine, but there are some things you need to learn to be able to do this. For instance, the blur, we always make use of the blur. We always make use of the blend modes. We always make use of the noise. We always make use of the we also make use of some very important filters like noise, like blur, like blend modes, like opacity, and also these are basic things you need to understand and need to be able to manipulate backgrounds easily. Very important, because sometimes you might just have a background that have been overused and it doesn't really give your design that uniqueness. So guys, if you found this helpful, please do well to like, share, comment, recommend and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.